thank you for checking out this tutorial brought to you from Backfist Customs Glitter. I'm Nicole, and today I'm going to be showing you how to fill a shaker mold and make a shaker keychain. This is a shaker mold. It is a claw machine. This mold and everything you see is going to be linked in the description box below. This is a completed shaker game mold. So in this tutorial, we're going to be using 3 different glitters to fill the mold. Athens, Aruba, Barbados. Our filler material is a mixture of rainbow dots and ninja stars, which is what is in this one right here. For this tutorial, you will need a shaker mold, you will need UV resin, a UV flashlight or a lamp. You're going to need transparency film, baby oil. I've drew my baby oil up in a blunt tip needle. These are from Amazon. They're blunt. And once we fill the mold and demold it, I will show you there's a spot over here on the edge. You'd literally stick the needle in underneath the transparency film and fill it up with the oil. I use a small paintbrush to attach my UV resin. And you're going to need your 2-part epoxy resin. So let's get to it, guys. Okay, guys, I've got my resin mixed up in these 3 cups right here. And this is the mold we're going to be doing. And as you can see, shaker molds have a recess in them. So part of the mold is not flush with the rest of the edges. So on these molds, you're going to want to completely cover everything inside the mold. So I'm just going to be using a repeating pattern here. On this specific arcade game mold, you want to make sure that you're pouring fresh resin. I know a lot of people, especially those who make tumblers, they do use molds to use leftover epoxy. I don't suggest that with molds that have lots of small details. The claw in this has a very, very small detail. And if the resin isn't free flowing, you're going to get an air bubble. So just make sure it is completely filled to the top. And if you see any spots, just go back and fill them in. I want to make sure on the heart and the 3 little buttons, I have plenty of epoxy on it, because that is a very thin part of this mold. So you don't want to get an air bubble right there. And I'm going to zoom y'all in so y'all can see. It's very full. So it's almost, it's got a beveled look to it up top. So we're going to let that sit and cure for the next 12 to 24 hours, depending on your resin brand. All brands of resin are different, and they all cure differently. I use some resin, it takes the entire 24 hours to cure. And I have some resin that it might be completely cured in 8 hours. So you can use a lighter on these molds very quickly. And when you do it, mainly do the middle of the mold. Don't leave the heat on the edges of your mold for more than a split second, because you can fuse the mold to the piece that you're making. So I just go through and do the edges once around very quickly, go back and do the middle. And you just wait for it to cure, and then you can demold it. So I will show you that next. Thank y'all. Okay guys, it's been 24 hours since we have poured our shaker into the mold, and it is completely cured, ready to come out. So the way I get mine out, I just start with the edges. And I pop the little recesses out. And it is ready to be filled. Okay guys, so we're going to go ahead and fill this mold, and I'm going to show y'all how to use the transparency film and the UV resin to finish up this shaker. So this is our mixture of rainbow dots and ninja stars. Both of these colors are available on Backfist Customs. It's a holographic ninja star. It's one of my favorite. I love all the shape glitter. And this is the rainbow dots. It's exactly what it says. It is dots and they are rainbow colored. It is a party in a cup, which is perfect for this claw machine keychain. It's absolutely perfect. So I mix the two colors and I just kind of shake it up. And I have way too much glitter in here for this, because on these shaker keychains, the whole purpose of them is for the filler, whatever you use on the inside, to flow. So if you completely fill it up, pack it in there, it's not going to have any flow. So I usually just sprinkle a little bit and I shake it, and I kind of see how it's going to flow. That's a little too much for my liking. Sometimes I like a bunch. And that's pretty good. You can't see exactly what it's going to look like because there's a big hole right here. It will fall out. Alright. So once you decide on your shaker filler and you get that put in, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to cut your transparency film. So on the website, when you order shakers, this one is a single, but there is a shaker kit, and this shaker does come with transparency film, I believe. I ordered all of the shakers at once, and extra transparency film, because I have a shaker addiction. Lots and lots of shakers. This one is the crescent moon out of the kit, and this one is the star out of the kit. So it will come with transparency film, also on the UV resin and the lamp. You can buy the UV resin singular, or you can buy it in a kit with the UV lamp. A UV flashlight will work if you're doing just one shaker, you just want to test it out. Get the flashlight, because you just cure it like this. You just hold it over it and just cure the UV resin that way. I prefer the lamp because I do make several at a time. In the lamp, you can stick multiple items underneath there. So I've pre-cut this piece of film right here that will go on this shaker. But I'm going to show y'all how I get the shape. So on shakers, you're going to want to cut a piece of film that completely covers the void you're wanting to cover. So for this shaker right here, I do not plan on covering the heart or the buttons. I don't want to cover those. I want to leave those open. So I'm just going to make a square. And right there, you can see there's a little dip. That dip is, so once you put your transparency film on, you're going to be able to slide this needle from the blunt tip needle in and fill it with the oil. That is a big deal. I've made plenty of shakers without that dip, and you have to drill a hole. And drilling a hole is not that much fun. I suggest that you cut your shape before you put your filler in, because the glitter likes to stick to the film. Alright, so you just draw your shape on there. You're going to cut it out with a pair of scissors. In this transparency film, it does have a protective film on it, so make sure you're going to want to pull that off before you attach it to your shaker with the UV resin. Y'all are probably thinking, how do you get that black permanent marker off? I just take a baby wipe and I put a little bit of 91% alcohol on there. And you just wipe it right off. Comes right off. At this point in making your shakers, if you're not already wearing gloves, I would suggest doing that. Because the transparency film picks up fingerprints very easily, and also the UV resin that we're going to be using, which, by the way, I made shakers long before Backfist Customs got resin and shaker molds and transparency film. This is the best resin on the market. I have tried every brand, and I'm in love with it. I keep telling him he needs the bigger bottles because these do not last me long enough. They are 60 grams, and if you're just making a few here and there, it will last you forever. I can get probably just making shakers, I can get over 100 shakers out of that bottle. I just happen to make a lot of shakers, y'all. Okay, so I've cleaned my transparency film, both sides. But the film is on there, so you want to make sure to get that film off before. There's a little protective film. Make sure you get this film off, because if you don't, and say you put the film side down, this is going to shrivel up with the oil and it's going to look terrible. So I take it off right now because I will forget to take it off later and I may put it upside down. I'm going to set my film on top of this lid so I don't lose it because it is clear. I mix a lot of resin in these little cups right here. They do come with the lids. I keep the lids. I use them for paint if I'm painting something, and they work out really great to put UV resin on. So I put a very small dot, you guys. That's actually too much. It does not take hardly any UV resin. My big tip on UV resin is it cures by the light. So make sure you cap your resin back. And if you're working during the day near an open window with natural sunlight, make sure your resin isn't in direct sunlight because it will start to cure up on you. And I can reuse my paintbrush. After I'm done with this, I clean it with a little Dawn dish soap. So you're going to paint the UV resin all around the edge of the cavity you're wanting to fill. Look, I got glitter on it. I just wipe the glitter right off. Make sure you get a good coat on there. And don't worry about the little putting UV resin down in this little recess right here, because that's going to stay open so you can fill it. You just want to make sure you get a really good coat of the UV resin, because this UV resin is essentially what is going to keep your baby oil inside your shaker. Okay, you can see got a good coat all the way around. Check your hands, make sure there's nothing on them. Check your film, Make sure it is good to go. And you are just going to drop your film right on top. It will kind of do the work for you. I take the end of my paintbrush and I kind of just dab it all the way around. Making sure it's on there. And when you go to look at it, make sure there's no gaps. Make sure that that film has connected completely with the UV resin. I have a ninja star right there. Okay guys, once you have your film on, you're going to want to get your lamp out or your UV flashlight. If you're using a UV flashlight, you are literally just going to go around the edges in the shape of whatever your cavity is. This one is a square. You would just go around it like this. If you're using the lamp, I do it for 60 seconds. The 60 seconds and the 30 seconds are high heat. That means it's the full power of the lamp. The 99-second button is low heat mode. I personally don't ever use that button. Alright, once it comes out of the lamp, you're going to want to look at it one more time and make sure that you don't have any spots that weren't covered. So the next step in filling the shaker mold is you're going to get your baby oil. So as I told you earlier, there is a recess. It was right here. It's right here. So you're literally going to take your little blunt tip needle and you're going to slide it underneath there. And on shakers, I like to leave a small bubble. I turn the shaker downwards so that the bubble is going to hit where the hole is, so you don't have oil leaking out everywhere. And you're just going to fill it up. As you fill it up, make sure you're looking to make sure there's no leaks. If there is a leak, you can go back and do another layer of UV resin around the edge. And you fill it up to your desired capacity. It's hard to see on camera, but right here is my bubble. I have a small one. That's going to give me really good flow. So now you have to fill that hole up where you put the oil. And like I said, it cures really fast. That has already cured. I suggest putting a teeny tiny bit amount out. This, actually I'm going to do it with the bottle, just because I don't want to waste any resin. So right here, I'm going to squeeze a little bubble of resin out. I'm going to take my paintbrush over here, kind of make it flat on the edge over here. And I'm going to stick it back underneath the lamp for 60 seconds to fill that hole up. Alright, when that comes out, this is the important part. This is where you check for leaks. So you're going to turn it all the way around, back, forth, upside down, and you're going to look. and see if you have any leaks anywhere. And I do not. So the next step that we're going to go to is doming, is what the process is called. So you have to cover the film in the UV resin. This particular shaker mold, I am not covering the entire thing because I want the heart and the buttons to be open, and I want this to look like a game piece, like an arcade game. So I'm going to only be doming the part that I put UV resin on right here and all the way up to the top. So from here up is what I'm doming with 2-part epoxy resin. Other shaker molds, like the ones I've showed you before, this one was completely domed, as well as the star. That's the great thing about these shaker molds. Some of them are very versatile, and you can do unique things with them, and that is what makes you stand out. I have not seen anybody else do this particular mold this way to make it look bubbled like a TV screen or arcade screen. So, next step is to mix your 2-part epoxy resin for doming. For doming purposes for this specific shaker, you're not even going to need 10 milliliters. I would mix 10 to make sure you have enough. Okay, you guys, I've got my 2-part epoxy resin mixed, and it's been sitting for just a few minutes. So I'm able to take my lighter and pop the top bubbles on there. So you are going to take your mold. You're going to make sure it's cleaned off very well. You can use a baby wipe or a lint-free towel or paper towel. Make sure there's no smudges. Make sure there's no smudges or fingerprints, because you know epoxy will show every single little blemish. Okay, as I said before, I'm only going to be doing 3/4 of this mold for a dome layer. If you choose to do this, which is perfectly fine, if y'all want to go make this step by step, please do, and please tag me in it. I would love to support you, shout you out on my Instagram, my Facebook, all of that. I'm going to suggest you tape where you want to not dome. You can, doming kind of goes a little crazy. It's like, if you think about it, like, you know, you're only trying to epoxy half a cup. That's essentially kind of what you're doing. But I've made a lot of keychains, and I'm just going to roll with it. So this resin is kind of thin. So I'm going to suggest you keep it on a very flat surface. You get eye level, and you pour a little bit at a time. A little dot. Bring it up to y'all. I didn't put very much at all. And you are just literally going to drag it across your surface. Make sure to get these edges over here, because this top layer of resin is what seals for sure that transparency film, so you won't have any leaks. Because I am not epoxying the entire top of this. So if you wanted to do the entire piece, you would just cut your film to cover those buttons. And then you would just do this step on the entire piece. Make sure you get these little whisker pieces over here because this is like a cat head. This is very anime, kawaii, inspired. I love this piece. So you're going to sit your piece back down. You're going to get eye level with it once again, and you're going to make sure you don't have any fish eyes or divots. And then you're going to give it a once over with your lighter. On these molds, I do not suggest using a torch because they were just too hot. You really just need a once over with the barbecue lighter. Alright guys, so that is how you make a shaker keychain. I really hope that this tutorial has been very helpful for you. And I will show you this one more time. See how it looks like an arcade game. It has a nice bubble to it. So please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that now. Hit the bell so you're notified when we go live with new content. Leave us a comment down below of what you love about the video. Leave us a comment down below. Thank you so much for checking this out. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or questions or you don't get a part of the video, please leave it in the comment box below. I will definitely be reading those and I will be reaching out to y'all. Thanks so much.